Thursday, June 11th, 08:10 a.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. Pre-market, meaning the stock market hasn't opened yet, the regular trading hours. Investing in good stock indexes. There are several stock indexes that I look at on a regular trading day. There are many stock indexes, but again, I focus on the leaders, the ones that have solid history, the ones that have tight spreads, the ones that have good liquidities. That's a lot of information, so I'll dumb it down. There's a lot of junk stocks, a lot of junk stock indexes. It's not too hard for a company to get listed on stock exchanges. There are many stock exchanges. Just because a company you might like, just because a company might have a good product or service, doesn't mean they're going to perform well on a stock index. I'll give you an example. You have a company that makes products, that's the manufacturer side, called Apple. Very diversified, hardware and software, international. Okay. Now let's compare that with a company that provides a service. That service might be a car wash, and they might only be in one city and one brick and mortar store. The income, well, you figure it out which one you think's having more income, which one has more growth, which one has more potential customers. But both could be listed on the stock market, not necessarily the same stock exchange. But I choose not to invest in individual stocks. They could be halted on the stock market. They could be delisted on the stock market. I choose good stock indexes, buying on the dips. One of them is the S&P 500. This is a monthly chart, 10 years of history, has 500 companies on it. Periodically, those companies get changed out, replaced. The bad ones get removed and better ones get added. Look at the bottom left. Look at the top right, all-time new high. Yes, it's red for the month. Opportunities to buy at lower prices. This stock index, I just said, has 500 companies, but in the stock index, this is comprised of several stock indexes. It's also comprised of 11 sectors. I'm not going to go into all that on this video. I'll show you the basic. But again, it's a very diversified stock index. It's a weighted average. That means the ones that have higher demand represent a larger percentage of this stock index. Weighted average. Stock sectors, the ones that are more in demand, as those change any given day, and the stock indexes that change their underlying assets are represented in here. But it's a very diversified stock index. So this is another stock index, the NASDAQ 100. It's just 100 companies that trade on the NASDAQ. Again, the NASDAQ Composite Index is all the NASDAQ stocks. But this is the 100 of the best NASDAQ stocks. Well, this stock index here is part of the S&P 500. So again, when I invest in the S&P 500, I'm also invested in this. They also made an all-time new high here. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, look at this, also made a new high for the year. It also is part of the S&P 500. It's one of the older stock indexes. It's 30 companies. It's the 30 largest publicly traded companies in value. Yep. There are companies of the NASDAQ 100 that are also listed in this index. I have separate videos of it. But I just said a key word there, value. So the value of these 30 companies have more value than the majority of the ones on the NASDAQ 100. I say that because some of the NASDAQ 100s are on the stock index here. So it's a very prestigious stock index. So again, 30 largest publicly traded companies of value. And the companies that traded on it are listed on different stock exchanges. Here we go. The Dow Transports. It's also part of the S&P 500. For the month, higher high, higher low. But again, below the highs of the year. It's transportation. Very broad. Rail, trucks, airlines. For example, FedEx, UPS, American Airlines, again, but it's transportation. It's one category, part of the S&P 500. The Dow Jones Utilities, utility companies. What's a utility? Water, electric, cable, internet, gas. Those are utilities. Again, it's trending down. Took out the low of last month. Part of the S&P 500. There's another index I have here, which is not part of the S&P 500. So I'm not even going to show that one here. What we do now, I just showed you the stock indexes on the monthly time frame. I'm going to go to the S&P 500. S&P 500 in the futures now, also trades on another exchange. Again, here we are on the monthly. 20 years of history, each candle's a month. So again, this is open right now. Yep, it's been open since overnight. So I could trade in the indexes right now. I don't have to wait till the stock market opens. Wonderful thing when you have a broker that offers you access to different exchanges. I'm in the United States and I choose a broker that's licensed and operated at home base in the United States. It has over 10 years of history. That has a living, breathing person I can pick up the phone and call immediately, 24/7. Well, at least during regular trading. Yeah, overnight too. Give you a hint. It's not a web-based only app company. I have several brokers too for different financial purposes of trading, investing, different markets. But again, all-time new high, S&P 500. Difference between this and the cash are the trading hours and the margin requirements and a few other things. Here we go on the weekly. Ready halfway through the week since it's Thursday morning. And we already broke the low of last week. The trend reversed off the high. Lower highs, lower lows. Last week, huge impulse move down, extremely bearish candle. Okay, yellow horizontal line, the high of the year. Yellow horizontal line down here, the low of the year. And zoom in some more. Last week's, again, big red bearish candle. This week, we retested it. See this wick on top? We retested it, midpoint as expected. Opportunities for bearish trades, beautiful setup. We rejected it as expected, and we're currently trading below the low of last week, as expected. And we're in this imbalance area. Strategies for a trade idea looking to put on for either later today or tomorrow before the markets close for the week. And also into the pre-FOMC event on next Wednesday. The daily chart. Yesterday, inside candle simply means that we didn't take out the higher low of the prior candle. Can be found on multiple time frames. Overnight, we broke the low. And now we're trading back inside midpoint, potential rejection area. Sweet spot in right now. Trading opportunity. Again, that big red candle here, that was on past Friday, panic selling. Midpoint, as expected, multiple times testing it, rejection. Sweet spot for the bearish trades. And key level down here for bullish opportunities. If I have a good setup, I already pre-situation aware and alerts. So that's the futures. Again, it's open right now. But this is the cash index, the one that trades from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. See this the orange horizontal line. 2 days ago, we filled that gap. Again, here on the left. Weeks ago, we gapped up, went higher, came down 2 days ago, filled that gap. bullish pin bar. Nice. It's that big wick. So immediately when it broke flat, buyers stepped in, brought it all the way back up. Midpoint of this imbalance area. Rejection as expected. And currently, yesterday, we made another inside candle. Again, inside candles, multiple time frames can be found. Simply didn't take out the higher low of the prior candle, but that inside candle closed near its low for the day, bearish bias. It also traded and closed below the close of this big red candle. Again, more bearish bias. I'm going to remove this orange line where the gap got filled. We have a gap here, has not been tested nor filled yet. We have a gap down here, bigger gap, hasn't been tested yet. Staircase pattern, lower low. Yes, we get retracements, slow grinds up, big panic sellings down. This gap here, I said that we got filled as expected. So again, some point in time, I'm expecting these to be tested and refilled. It could occur this summer. It could occur later this year. It occurred next year. Don't know when, but I'm situation aware. And I know what the current trend is doing now. This is the futures market. The three major stock indexes. Left, S&P 500, the middle, the NASDAQ 100, and the far right, the Dow Jones. I showed you them on the monthly, that they all made new highs for the year. And I dissected the major stock index, the S&P 500, to see that it's trending down. So here overnight, this gray zone, the S&P 500 here is retracing from yesterday. The NASDAQ 100 here in the middle, retracing from yesterday. And the Dow Jones here retracing from yesterday. And now they're each in these minor consolidation areas. There's huge economic news today. The news coming out in a few minutes. And look at that big red candle that just spiked down. Yep. Opportunities. Look at that big red candle spiking down. Again, there's news, economic news coming out today. And then you have social media platforms that give the president access to put a post out 24/7. We're also at war. Thank you as always, spending just a little time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you kindly for your support.